I have a friend who was, and I still consider a close friend, that I didn't know had a problem. It was a friendship, we had a positive relationship, and they were arrested. And that totally threw me off. I wasn't expecting it. It's not something that I knew. Apparently there was a history that had been dealt before. So it's not something, I mean, I guess that's not really a way you lead into a new friendship. And by the way, but so I didn't know. I had no idea. And to be perfectly honest, the person didn't really admit to having a problem, even though he was arrested. He had court-mandated rehab that I drove him to and was in touch with him the whole time, wrote letters and phone calls and that sort of thing. And then after another arrest, and the rehab was off the table then, he went to prison for a while. I visited him in prison, kept in contact with him there. He was getting help, things were getting better, and within the last, 6 months to a year, they've started seeing signs that they're spiraling again, but I'm kind of like closed out, so as much as I check up and try to voice concern, it's not. And so because I came from a background where I was never really exposed to illicit drugs. I mean, I drink socially, but it's not ever been something that's a regular present part of my life. So this was my first experience with that, and this was about 5 years ago, actually going on 6 years ago, that this all started. I think he always, around me, tried to keep up appearances that everything was good even when it wasn't. So it always takes me a little longer. I don't know if I'm naive or I just don't want to see the signs, but it usually takes me a little longer to realize what's going on. And actually, when you first approached me about this, we were still just as close as ever. And over the last month or so, we haven't really had any contact. So we'll see what happens. And every time we come, I try to be supportive. I try to encourage, but I guess maybe I come off more as like the school teacher scolding type of attitude, because anytime we talk about it, it's like, I know what you're going to say, and don't worry, I'm doing this and this and this, and I don't think he really is, but I'm not in as close of a position to force him to do anything anymore. So, but it was, especially when it first happened, still now, it's like, it's more numbness to it now, and like just kind of, okay, now what do we do? But at first it was very, very hard for me. I had never been through that sort of experience before, and I had no idea how to handle it, and I had to talk to friends and family members who had before to try to get a grip. I was, for a couple of days after everything all came to light, I was inconsolable. Like, I just didn't know what to do or how to handle it or how to help him. And but it's, since then it's kind of become, I try to view it as, I guess, more like a disease than just a problem or a conscious choice. I mean, obviously there's, to some extent, conscious choice involved in it at certain points, but I think the hardest part is when he lies, and I know that he's lying, but he's adamant and he's reassuring about it, and it's like, okay, so I just have to take it with a grain of salt, and because I know that that's part of the whole situation and whole problem. But so it's, I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling, but but it's just, it is what it is, and it's, not that I'm at a point where I'm throwing my hands up and washing my hands of it, but I feel like there's not anything more that I can do short of driving by his house, throwing him in a car, and dropping him off somewhere, and even that wouldn't necessarily work, and that's not something that I'm willing to do right now. So for the moment, I have to wait and see, and I'm here if I'm needed, but I can't live somebody else's life for them, so it's tough. It's painful. I have moments of, like, should I do something? What should I do? And then other moments of, forget this. I'm done with dealing with this. So, but